all of the women who are experiencing menopause or who are going to experience menopause, and your family and your partners and your friends. It is our objective that you have a conversation, that you open up a dialogue about what it means to be a woman who is a certain age and is experiencing a change in their bodies, in their hormones, in their thought process, because this is real. And again, just to highlight what you said, menopause is not my area of expertise. I just happen to be a woman who is 52 years old, and I want to talk about it. Like I ask all of my speakers, be vulnerable, share openly, be authentic with who you are, and I am walking that walk in service of you. So it's really our hope that this conversation and the vulnerability that Alexandra and I share with each other in front of all of you will serve you in having the conversation with your loved ones.
I just want to say the name of the book. I know we've mentioned it, but I just love it, and it conveys everything we're talking about now. So if you didn't catch it the first time, it's called The Invitation: Vital Conversations About Menopause. And there's so many ways to extend an invitation. And the way that we have is by having a vital conversation about menopause with one another, as well as inviting a few particular people to join us in that conversation in the book. And so we hope the book itself has value based on what we've spoken in our conversation, in our vital conversation that is in the book, which is actually laid out like a conversation, but that it also is just the starting point for the richest conversation that you'll have with the people in your life.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you're pointing out that the format of the book is a conversation. And that was important to both of us because we wanted it, I believe I will speak for myself. I wanted this to be a very intimate, behind the scenes look at two women who are having a conversation with each other, who also open up the conversation with other women so that we could highlight and showcase the diversity of experiences in menopause. And that was one of the reasons that I reached out to you, is I'm having a very unique, in my personal unique experience of how I'm navigating menopause and how I'm choosing to experience hot flashes, how I'm choosing to experience an intimate relationship. And I wanted to talk to other women about that as well, because I am having the time of my life. I've never had more energy. I've never had more sensuality. I've never had more productivity. And I also want to highlight the opposite of that, because the opposite is true for many of my colleagues and friends.
And far more common. It just is far more common.
Right. So that was something that was important to me. And I would love to hear from you, Alexandra, about this conversation and what it illuminated for you. And I know the answer because we had the conversation, but just for our audience, share a little bit about what this conversation illuminated for you.
Okay, I'm going to say it. I'm going to set the stage indirectly. I was in my 30s and I was at a training that was women's empowerment and a kind of sexy context. And the question was, what did you learn to call your genitals in childhood? And people raised their hand with different words. And then there were those of us who had never learned a word. And if you don't have a name for your genitals, then inherently your experience of your genitals are going to be less aware and more numb, which isn't to say that I wasn't having amazing orgasms or great sensual experiences, but it's like I just had my eyes closed in a certain way because I had no language to wrap around it. And once I realized that, I began this incredible journey to not just know the anatomical terms, because I already did. I was a physician when I had this experience, but to really connect in a new way with my eyes open. And I feel like our book, The Invitation: Vital Conversations About Menopause, served in a similar way, that through our conversations, through realizing what were the topics we had opinions about, what were the topics that we had questions about, what did you know that I didn't, what did I know that you didn't. It illuminated my experience. And there's a way in which I think I was kind of going through my 50s. I mean, I have a lot of exciting things happening in my personal and professional life, but in terms of my relationship to my body and this significant change, I kind of just had my eyes closed, not literally, of course, but I don't have any dramatic symptoms. And so it was easy just not to put attention on it. And the richness of putting attention on my experience and seeing my thoughts and my feelings and my judgments and the freedom now that I have and the embrace of my experience, that really has been the most fruitful element, as well as taking something that could be so private and making it into something communal, which potentized and made it more sacred for me.